In this video, I'm going to show you how we can practice a few stitches. So I'm going to start by getting my thread, and I need about a little over a foot, probably about a foot and a half. Now, when I'm threading my needle, I am not going to tie it right on the end like here, like you've probably really commonly seen threads be tied here. I'm going to double up the tails so that the needle goes on the end here, and then I can tie the two tails together like so, like tying a balloon. Pull it tight. So this end needs to be tied, and then the needle has essentially like two lines coming from it. Now the first stitch we're going to do is called a running stitch. Before I do anything else, it's easiest for you to start by poking some holes where your thread is going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will always enter through the back, so I'll flip it over and push that needle through the back. And from here on out, it's really straightforward. I have pulled the thread all the way so that the knot is flush with the paper. Then I'll go in, then I'll go through the back, then I'll go in the top, then I'll go through the back, then I'll go in the top. So now I have made a running stitch. This is essentially looks like a dashed line after you're done. And then to finish a stitch off, I'll cut the thread as close as I can to the needle so that I have enough space here to tie it into a knot, like I'm tying my shoes. I'm double knotting that thread there so it's nice and secure. My next stitch is called a back stitch. So I have re-threaded my needle with a knot on the end here and the thread going through the eye of the needle. So just like I started with my running stitch, I'm going to begin by poking a few holes to get myself going. It's easier to poke the holes first because you have a little more control over keeping things where you want them to go instead of just going in blind. Now, the back stitch is a little bit different than the running stitch because I'm not going to enter through the first hole. I'm going to enter through the second. So I'm going to go in here, and then instead of going forward to the next one, I'm going to go back to where it came from. And now I'm going to enter through the next hole from the back again. So going from behind and then going back to where it came from. That's why it's called the back stitch. Go backwards here. And this will result in a straight line. My thread got a little bit knotted there. So there won't be any gaps in this line like there is in the running stitch. I'm going forward to the next open hole and then backwards to where I just came from. So this is a really nice secure stitch, and it makes a nice straight line. And then just like we did before, once you're ready to finish, you will finish on the back side of it. I'm going to cut my thread here, and then I will double knot these two tails. Now the last stitch I'm going to show you is called a whip stitch. So this I'm actually going to do along the bottom edge here. And just like before, I'll begin by giving myself some holes to follow. And a whip stitch doesn't always have to be on the edge of something, but for our purposes, I'm going to show you how you can add a whip stitch along the edge. So just like before, I'll start from beneath in the first hole. And then instead of going through a hole, I'm going to go around the paper itself and up through the bottom. So each time I am always coming up through the bottom. And as you can see, I think of it as like the thread whipping around the side. So that's a whip stitch when you are threading along the edge of something. But you can also do a whip stitch just like this in the paper. So I'm gonna come, it's almost like making diagonal lines. Come up through here, diagonally here, come up through here, and then diagonally here. So a whip stitch can be done on the edge of something, or it can be done in the middle, but you end up with these diagonal lines when you do a whip stitch. Oops. And just like I've been doing, I will finish the back by cutting right here, close to the needle, and then I will double knot right here. And to finish things off also, it's always nice to just trim these. Don't trim too close to where you're cutting the actual knot, but it just makes your stuff look a little cleaner if you get rid of extra tails like this. You could use things like this as a design element as well though, and make like a kind of a fringe on your work if that's what you would like to do. But for now, I want mine to be nice and clean. So there is my running stitch, my back stitch, and my whip stitch.